Hello trader, hope that you had an enjoyable trading day. So we can see that euro dollar, AUDUSD and British pound US dollar as expected. The market opened with a gap with multiple retest of this 10 and 20 EMA from this liquidity zone. Potentially the price may continue to the major direction of the trend. So let's start with euro dollar first of all, looking at monthly chart to see overall picture in this market, and then we'll be looking at the lower time frame to see how we can trade this instrument. Now looking at monthly on euro dollar, we can see that from this support level here there is a pretty strong bounce on the monthly time frame on euro dollar, and with that bounce after previous monthly doji formation from this level, the price has made its initial bounce back to the upside. Now first 2 weeks we saw that after the monthly open, the market has managed to bounce back to the upside, and with a gap open here the price has made initial bounce, which is a sign that the price may continue to rise. As if we look at the left side here, it's a pure imbalance in the market, which is a huge fair value gap. So if you look at the past here, this is the monthly chart where all those red candles has not been balanced by any green candlestick pattern. So what I think now this month the price may try to retest this key level or even breaking above further to create a new higher high. So from the monthly we can expect euro dollar still to push back to the upside here. Now dropping down to the weekly chart here, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly price section where there is a long wick at the top, and we see today the market open with a gap, which is pretty big gap here, and as expected from this support level the market open with a gap, and we may see the market potentially to continue to rise here to create a new higher high. So this is the previous weekly high here, and what I think, as the market open with a gap, the price is showing potential bullish continuation. We could see that the price to go ahead and create a new higher high. Now dropping down to the daily chart here, we can see that the previous daily price action with a long wick doji with this gap open here and the price trading above 10 EMA. We saw that there was a liquidity gap here with one single impulse followed by this pullback, and the market currently trending again in that direction to potentially create a new higher high. So looking at the 4 hour chart here, what we can see the market, this is the early opening here on this zone. We can see there is a 4 hour doji. This is a strong liquidity grab from this support level, followed by the current session also showing a stronger bullish momentum, and we see there is an inverted head and shoulder formation. The price tested both of this 10 and 20 EMA and potentially preparing for another bounce to create a new higher high in this market. So in that zone on the lower time frame, as soon as you will find suitable entry, you will be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at AUD USD. Let's see what kind of price action it is forming. Now Aussie dollar, we can see that in the monthly chart here also showing pretty strongly bull market, gap open here, initial bounce, and we may see that this market potentially to continue to rise to create a new higher high in this market. So if we look at closely, we can see this market is maintaining that bullish market structure, and we could see the price to continue to rise to create a new higher high. So looking at the weekly chart, we can see there is a doji formation from the weekly, which has a long wick on both sides, and from this support level from the weekly, which is maintaining series of higher low, we can see that with the market open, the market bounce back to the upside, and we can expect in this market to potentially cross that high to create a new higher high. Now dropping down to the daily chart, as we expected in the weekly forex forecast as well, the market crossed the 10 and 20 EMA, and from this level started to bounce back again. And what I think that this market, as there is a break of structure, we could see that there is a potential trend continuation in this market to create a new higher high. So looking at the intraday perspective from 4-hour chart here, this is where there is a liquidity grab and a strong bounce with that liquidity grab, forming an inverted head and shoulder here, giving a probability for AUDUSD potentially to continue to the uptrend. And as soon as we will find suitable entry here on AUDUSD, we will be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at British pound US dollar to see what kind of price action it is forming here. Now GBPUSD with a doji formation in that area where there is a stronger liquidity grab. The market also on the lower time frame showing that potential bullish trend continuation. Now if we look at the multi time frame also from the monthly, we can see that it's a strongly bull market here with a gap open, significant bounce to the upside on the monthly chart on British pound US dollar. And if we look at the weekly, we can see that from the weekly perspective there is a weekly doji formation, and with a narrow gap open here from the weekly, what we can expect in this market for the price to retest and then to continue to rise to create a new higher high. Now looking at the daily chart here on British pound US dollar, we can see that from the daily the price has crossed that low, grab the liquidity, and we can see that this market potentially trending to the upside to create a new higher high. So looking at the 4-hour chart here on GBPUSD, we see there is a narrow to smaller doji formation in that area, and with this narrow to doji we can see the price has managed to bounce back to the upside. And as soon as we will find suitable entry in that area on British pound US dollar, we'll be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup. Traders, if you enjoy this education and analysis, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.